Um, this is about dreams. Everybody dreams, even animals. Um, Freud says there's a reoccurrence of a dream more than three times and need to be addressed because it's your unconscious telling you what it wants, your id. There's three theories of dreams. One is the dreams mean nothing. It's just a neurons firing and your brain makes up stories to compensate for that. We're not going to look at those. That one. We are going to look at the Freudian, which is wish fulfillment, that your id wants something and it wishes for it and it happens in your dream. And then the other one is the insight learning theory of dreams, whereas dreams are just an extension of the day and the problems of the day, and dreams are trying to assess how to handle those problems and make solutions to those problems. This explains, if you believe this theory, that you don't remember a lot of your dreams because they're just downright boring. My life's really boring, so you can imagine my dreams must be. Um, but remember nightmares and fantasies because they stand out. So we have the Freud, which is wish fulfillment, um, and he believes in dream interpretation. You can learn a lot about yourself. And we have latent content. Latent content is the actual meaning of the dream, and then we have manifest content, which is the action of the dream. And the only problem is we get hung up on the action and we forget the really meaning. It's like a Avengers movie. There's all kinds of excitement going on, but no plot. So we need to focus on the latent part of the dream. Uh, uh, there are different dreams. Genders dream differently, um, and we believe this is cultural, not genetic. For instance, there are more men in men's dreams than women. Women tend to have equal amounts of men and women. Men have familiar women in the dreams, but sex with unfamiliar, and women have sex with people they know in their dreams. Um, Men identify with occupations, um, and we know with CEOs that are female, they also identify in occupations. That's why we think it's cultural. Women dream in color, men dream more a little more in black and white. Women dream more in indoor settings, men dream more in outdoor settings. Men emphasize size, and you can understand that, where women dream more actual size. Um, Men have violence against people they don't know, and because they can't, have violence against people they know. Women have less violence, but women cuss more in dreams than men. So that's some of the differences that we have. There's more, but we're not going to go into all of those. Then we talk about drugs, and that's the next part of the chapter. And I want you to know the psychological definition of a drug. And I'm going to ask this because I think it is important. It is not something that just alters behavior, of 2x4 alters behavior. Drug is an artificial attempt to reproduce, exaggerate, or prevent naturally occurring neurotransmissions. So you got to have the word neurotransmission in the definition or it's not going to work. So a drug either replaces a neurotransmitter, reproduces a neurotransmitter, prevents a neurotransmitter, or excites on a neurotransmitter. Addiction, there's two types, physical and psychological. Physical, the body is changed, so the body has to have it. And it requires a need because the body no longer makes the sister substance. So in order to have physical addiction, you have to have withdrawal symptoms. If you don't have withdrawal symptoms, you're not physically addicted, you are psychologically addicted. And that's the idea. If I can't do something without the drug, I can't be happy without the drug, I can't perform without the drug, but your body's not got used to it, so you're not going through withdrawal symptoms. The book talks about tolerance. Tolerance meaning, excuse me, you're getting used to the drug, and the more that you use it, the more you need to get a buzz. Alcohol is a great example of that. Marijuana is another good example of that. And we do have evidence of genetic predisposition, which means your brain chemistry can make you more conducive to drug addiction or not. Drugs are labeled into families, like depressants. It's one family. and that lowers the activity of the central nervous system. Excuse me. It reduces awareness and response to stimuli. That's why you shouldn't drink and drive. So it actually raises the threshold for firing. Alcohol is the most abused depressant, and the legal rate of intoxication is 0.08. And there's three things. There's more than three things. Like left-handers are more affected by alcohol. Women are more affected by alcohol. But on the test, I'm going to ask you three things, and you've got to give me at least two of these three things. Weight, bigger you are, more you can drink. Time period, drinking a fifth over a month, drinking a fifth over a night, you could get alcohol poison and die. And the amount, of course, how much alcohol you drink. Some wines are 11%, beer is only 5%. So, excuse me. So, I want, one of those, two of those three, and only those. The importance of psychological addiction and alcohol is, I can't make a bigger case for it. Some people they can't think they have a party unless there's alcohol. They can't feel good unless they're drinking. And also part of that psychological dependency is a lack of responsibility. I jumped all over you, and I go, well, that wasn't me. I'm a gentleman. It was the alcohol. So we have a lot of lack of responsibility with alcohol. Opiates come from opium, which is a plant, produces a fluoric state. They have opium dens in China. And then three other drugs come from opium. One is morphine, which is a painkiller. And when I had open heart surgery, oh God, I love morphine. It's called the soldier drug because during war, when a soldier gets shot up, they pump him or her full of morphine, and unfortunately, you might get addicted. Codeine, which I should have right now to stop this cough, but codeine suppresses cough. It used to be you can get it over the counter. You can't do it anymore, and you have to get a prescription. You used to, when I went your age, you could have Vicks 44 with codeine. And then heroin. Heroin was invented to use in operations because we know that a person who gets put to sleep, anesthesia, that slows their recovery. So the idea was that we would give a person heroin and we do the operation while they're awake. And so they recover faster. Unfortunately, you can get addicted in one trial with heroin. Then the book talks about methadone. Methadone is a treatment for heroin. It's man-made, but you become addicted to it, but it has no high. So the theory is that once you get on methadone, you can easily break methadone addiction because it's no high. It's been successful in Europe and not so much successful in the United States. And then we're going to do something that's not right, but we're just going to do it in this class. Barbiturates, sedatives, and tranquilizers all are the same thing. And they're not, but we're just doing that. Tranquilizer was invented by a vet to deal with horses, and then he thought, well, if it works with horses, it works with humans. Like Valium is the most only prescribed drug there is. For anxiety, people get addicted to it very quickly. So we'll stop here and okay, and pick it up in a minute.